I'm Corsetti, and now we're going to get into NBA. But my guest today is Corey. But I got to call Corey, and I'm going to call him right now. Let's get Corey on the line. Corey, the home run hitter.
Hey.
Here's my guest, Corey, the home run hitter. What's up, Corey?
What's up, man? How are we?
Good. You ready to talk about the Sixers?
Let's talk Sixers. What do we got?
So, I was thinking about the Sixers, Corey. First, before we talk about what you want their off-season plans to be, I want to know, what you think about their last playoff run last year. Let's get into that first, I was thinking.
All right. Well, I think it was just an all-time collapse from a team that should have collapsed.
And what do you think? What are your thoughts on Embiid? Let's get into that first.
I want him gone. I want him out of the city. I think we need to get him out while he still has value. Tired of losing in the second round.
Corey, I get where you're at, Corey. I know you're frustrated with Embiid, but look, I think that we need another point guard. I think we need to let James Harden walk, and he is, and I don't want to bring him back, but I would like to get a guy like Kyrie Irving.
You don't think Kyrie Irving's too much of a mental case?
Do you?
I don't know. This is going to be his third team in the same amount of years, correct?
I do, but the thing is, we need another guard that can score. And I think, to me, I know James Harden dropped 42. I'm not saying he's washed up. But to me, I think...
3 games he did in that last series, by the way.
What'd you say?
3 games in the last series, he dropped 40 points.
I know. Are you happy with that?
I'm ecstatic with that. I think he played hard and ball. And it's hard for him to play his game with Embiid, putting himself on an island. As soon as the pick and roll doesn't work, Harden swings it to Embiid, who puts himself on an island, and then we lose a possession because he can't shoot, from 100%. He might make 60 of them, or 60% from his fadeaway jumper. But
who do you think's better, Jokic or Embiid?
I think Embiid's a better ball player, but from a team aspect, I'm going to be honest with you. There's a guy right now that's in the Western Conference Finals. There's a guy that isn't in the Eastern Conference Finals.
There's one thing. I think Embiid is a better player, like you said, but there's one thing Jokic is better than Embiid. I think when Embiid catches the ball up top, that he gets cookies a lot. When Jokic gets the ball and they bring the double team, one thing that man's done, he knows how to pass.
Oh, I agree with you 100% on that. That was what I was saying from the team aspect.
When they come to, and I'm going to say Denver does have a better team than the Sixers, but that helps a little bit. But I'm just saying when Embiid gets double teamed, I don't like when he tries to take 3-on-1. And there's always a guy open. He's got to learn how to find the open man.
And I couldn't agree more with that. I think when he gets on that island, and then as soon as the other team starts to double him or triple them and just start making their changes on D, the whole book's out on the Sixers. Nobody knows what to do. Nobody can score. And I think another big issue is our bench.
Niang.
I'm a huge Niang fan. He gave us some serious quality minutes that last series, I would say.
I do like Niang, but something against when he plays the Celtics, he can't play.
I agree. And same with what's his name?
Dayton Milton, whatever his name is. The guy that had one.
Yeah.
The guy that had one good game and then struggled the rest of the series.
Yeah, I mean, Boston's always been our kryptonite, I would say. But there was just no excuse. There should not have been a Game 7. That should have been wrapped up. Game 6. And you can't tell me otherwise.
I think us not scoring with the last 5 minutes killed us. Tatum shouldn't have came loose like that.
Not by any means. Not by any means should that have happened. But I think we got to learn from it, and you have to make changes this offseason,
I think the only guys safe that are Maxey and Embiid. And honestly, if you're me being honest, I don't even think Embiid's safe.
I don't think he is either. How many times can you watch the same story play out,
I think Maxey's the only one really safe.
Yeah, I think he's the future. He should obviously he's a player. He's a competitor.
I'm just being honest. I think if we can get something for look at Bam out of Bayou. I think Embiid's better than Bam, but Bam, why does Bam stand under the net and average in this series against Boston against old Al Horford, which Embiid should be doing, averaging 20 rebounds a game and 20 points? Why does he do that? Because his coach is smart. He's like, I want you underneath the net to get rebounds, and he's killing Al Horford.
Correct. And, to add salt into that wound, Bam Adebayo is 6'9", Embiid is 7'1", 7'2", and can't grab boards on day. Where's the sense there,
And Bam's grabbing them on defense and offense. And I think Embiid's a way better player, but I'm saying I think a lot of that has to do with coaching. I think the Heat coach is a lot better coach than Doc Rivers, and he's telling Bam can't shoot, so he's saying I don't want you anywhere outside the little cylinder where he's like I don't want you anywhere outside. He's probably like I don't even want you outside the foul line. He's like I want you right here, getting the rebounds and putting the ball right up.
Exactly. So you think getting rid of Doc was the right move?
I do, you?
Oh, 100%. I think that was the consensus throughout the city, to be honest.
I don't imagine if Embiid shoots a couple threes, but he likes to chuck them up a lot in a while. He's 7'2". When you got a guy on Marcus Smart and you're hesitant to take him on, the dude's like 6'2".
I know. And nothing for nothing, I think Marcus Smart plays a great role, especially when it comes to the flopping. I mean, it's annoying, but I don't think anybody does it better than him. And we saw that throughout the whole series.
And let's go back to Jokic. I want to say when I was watching Game 2 of the Lakers, when Jokic catches the ball here and they double team, what makes the Nuggets more dangerous is I like Jamal Murray. You double team him, you leave Jamal Murray wide open.
And I will say Jamal Murray had a game last night. He can hoop. And anybody could really do that. When you got somebody like Jokic or Embiid that's getting all the attention, there's no reason why, another one of your players can't step up and drop that 30-point game, 40-point game.
They got Jamal Murray. They got Porter. These guys just come out of – these guys, he's getting double teamed. He dished them out. These guys just hit three-pointers. Boom, boom.
And they fall. I mean, they play good ball, and they don't rely on a guy that's 7'2" that likes to shoot jump shots from the elbow to Kate.
I told everyone, I told people I talked about in the playoffs, like my uncle Turk and Perry, I said, Jokic is the best player on this team, but I said, they're nowhere without Jamal Murray.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly.
And
I think Jamal Murray really playing, up to his standard, and that's why the Nuggets are in the position they're in. They're about to, bounce LeBron out of the playoffs. And I hate to say it, but
I said,
does it put him in retirement? I don't know.
I said if they don't have Jamal Murray, they're not the 1 seed and they're not in the Western Conference Finals.
That's a hot take, but I'm not going to totally disagree with it.
Because last year they had the same team with Eric Gordon, Jamal Murray was coming around ACL. They got swept in the first round.
Yeah, they did.
So Jamal Murray's coming back. It looks like he didn't even miss a beat from the bubble year.
And while we're on the topic of the West, I mean, how about the Suns just falling apart?
Suns only have two players. They only have Chris Paul's all right, but he's getting old. He looks bad.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say he looks bad, but he looks not the same player he used to be. They have Devin Booker and Durant. Their bench stinks.
Correct.
They don't have anyone coming off the bench. In the one game they I didn't watch the game, but in the one game they won. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch any highlights. I read that Booker and Durant had to drop 80 of them points to even beat the Nuggets.
Yeah. Just goes to show how good the team Nuggets is, but I don't know. I think the Suns had a plan, and it did not work out for them, and now they're...
Here's the question I'm going to ask you. Do you think the Suns should have kept Mikal Bridges?
Oh.
I mean, I know they gave up a lot, but they also... I know I might have done that too, but Bridges is young. This is what I'm getting at. Bridges is younger. They also gave up Cam Johnson, and they gave up 4 draft picks. Do you think they gave up a little much? I'm going to be honest. I think they gave up a little too much. I think Bridges is younger. Bridges is better defensively than Durant. He's not better than Durant, but people saying he could be like in the next couple of years, you could be saying he could be the next Kevin Durant.
Bridges. You're talking about Bridges now.
Yeah,
being the
Bridges.
next Kevin Durant.
I'm talking about it, dude. Being the next Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant has been arguably the best scorer of, our generation.
Would you gave all that off for Kevin Durant? Now, it's okay if you gave all that off for Kevin Durant. But now you know that experiment didn't go anywhere. Now you got to try to bring in more pieces to make your team better next year.
And you got to figure out how you're going to expense that because the Suns gave up everything to add, and now they got to pay Durant. But did Booker sign his deal? Booker's on a huge deal, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to see what they end up doing.
I mean, I think they'll still be good because you have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, but I also read a rumor that James Harden wants to try to go there.
Yeah, I saw that too. I don't buy it. I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't think that's more than a rumor. There's definitely no type of, solidity to that at all. I don't think Harden's. I think he wants to stay in Philly, but he wants to play his game, and he hasn't been able to do that under Doc Rivers.
Maybe I want the Sixers to bring in Nick Nurse.
Is that who you want? That's your pick?
That's my pick. I like Nick Nurse. Come on, let me explain something about Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse brought the Raptors almost back to the finals without a Kawhi Leonard. He almost brought that bad, dumb of a team they had last year from down 3-0 to almost come back and beat the Sixers.
Yeah.
He's a good coach.
I guarantee he's a great coach.
And I guarantee if we have him, he's going to tell Embiid he's sitting under the paint.
As he should be. That infuriates me that, we watch Embiid play like a point guard at 7-2.
I don't mind him taking a couple threes if he's open, but I don't want him taking 20 threes a game.
No.
If he hits one, then good. He can take a couple threes. I'm not mad about that. But he needs to play more of a Shaq role.
Yeah.
I
don't think he's built for that. I don't think he's. I don't know.
And it's also sad how Charles Barkley got more rebounds than him, and he was a Sixer center, and he was like what 6'5"?
Oh, Barkley, yeah, he was short for a center.
And Embiid, and he would just get boards and put him back up, and Embiid struggles.
He does.
He doesn't really.
I think a lot of that though was like the play style that was being thrown out there by Doc Rivers as the head coach.
Look, if the Sixers bring back Harden, I won't be mad, but he's not. But if they bring back Harden, then you got to look Harden. Then I still think we have to try to do something else, and that might be trade Tobias' contract.
Well, I think.
But again, I was talking to my cousin.
Clean up Elton Brand's mess.
I'm not mad at Tobias because I don't think the Sixers use him right. If you ever notice, they have James. He's a max player, and they don't use him like a max player. They just keep him in the corner, and he barely touches the ball on offense when all the guys are on the ball. Like Maxey brings it up, Harden brings it up, and Embiid brings it up. They don't really let him do it. Even when the scrubs are in, he touches it. Like Tobias has to create his own shots. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah. I think Tobias is still a good ball player, just not in that system, man. That's what I think really a lot of these issues we're talking about boils down to the system.
I think if they don't, I don't see him trading Tobias' contracts. I don't think no one's going to pay it. So I think he's going to be here next year. And if they do, I don't think we'll re-sign him after next year. But if he's here next year, they got to try to get him. I want to see them get him the ball more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think Tobias is a terrible player.
No, I think he's got a great jump shot when it's on. And, he's tall enough to where he helps on defense. He does play great defense, right?
Yeah, and if they do bring back, let's say they're talking about bringing back Tobias after next year, I don't think it's a terrible deal, but I'm not going to pay him a lot of money.
No, Tobias Harris being a $35 million a year guy is...
I would say, talk to him and say, hey, Tobias, if you want to come back, we can come back, but these are the terms. Like a 2-year deal, maybe $5 million. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's taking, $5 million a year, but... Maybe
$10 million. Go that far.
Yeah, he got his max, and, I think that was just a terrible decision by Elton Brand. A lot of what he did was horrible, but...
Like I said, Tobias got his max, so I think Tobias if we or someone offered him a 10 to 15 mil contract on a winning team, I think he would take it.
I wouldn't be upset about that by any means. I would love to see him come back. Like you said, at a cheaper price point, no brainer for the Sixers.
And Elton Brand, I hate Elton Brand because we should have had Mikal Bridges.
Bridges, Tatum, the Tobias Harris contract. This was all Elton Brand. I mean, and Morey just
and we
doing
should
a
sort of
great
had
job.
Jimmy. We should sort of had Butler because if we got rid of Ben Simmons and Brett Brown, we would sort of had that killer.
And talk about a playoff hero, man. He is playing out of his mind.
Jimmy Butler's a beast, dude.
I think Jimmy Butler should have stayed, man. He was the key to the city.
He just killed. Would you trade Embiid for Butler straight up?
I don't know if they're a straight up type of trade. I think there's got to be way more that goes into that.
Would you trade Tyler Hero and Bam for a first round pick for Embiid?
Yes. Well, I think we need a little more as well. Probably 2 or 3 first round picks, but yeah.
Because I don't mind Bam. I think he's a pretty solid center.
He is, but he's a little short. I mean, and we don't have a whole lot of height because you can't run Bam Adebayo.
No, like you want Embiid traded. I want Embiid to stay. But the thing is, if the Sixers are looking to trade Embiid, you can't just force it like you did with the Ben Simmons trade. I don't care. I'm not saying that was a terrible trade. I know they had no choice, but just say Embiid wants to be traded. Just say out of nowhere he says I don't want to play here anymore and I'm not going to play. Then just say, I'm saying if that ever happens again, then say, okay, then we're not going to play it and we're not forcing. I would say I'm not forcing the trade because
No.
I would say you want to sit out like a baby, then you can sit out. I would say, but I'm not forcing this trade like I did on Ben Simmons.
Yeah, no, it was frustrating to see that. And I'll be honest, I was a Ben Simmons fan. I was a Ben Simmons fanatic.
Ben Simmons,
for quite some time.
I think the only guy that can fix Ben Simmons is actually, and you might laugh, is LeBron James.
What?
And you know why? Because if you notice, and you might say, like, I'm a LeBron guy. You may not be a LeBron guy.
Oh, I'm a LeBron guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm a LeBron guy, but last night I did lose a lot of money on LeBron. I'm not going to lie. But
look, they're down 3-0. Just remember, one team's going to come back from 3-0 in our lifetime.
I mean,
if you put a bet on that and that actually happened, you would win a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't think this is that time though. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going to say, put a hot take. They're coming back from 3-0.
I would love to watch that, truly.
Look, it happened in hockey.
The Nuggets.
Look, it happened in hockey. It happened in baseball. Remember when the Red Sox came back to beat the Yankees in 2004? The only sport it has to happen in is basketball. But I feel like basketball's harder though, just because hockey's hard too. I just feel like baseball you can come back, like not can, but I feel like basketball's harder to come back from 3-0.
See, and the thing is, with basketball, there's too many other variables. I mean, look at some of these calls that the refs have been making in these playoff games decide the games.
But
in
baseball,
you don't see that. You know what I mean? It's either a strike or a ball. And then you got, a bang-bang play every now and then where the umpire has a little bit of a ruling. But it's nothing like basketball. I mean, some of these fouls that we've seen have just been absolutely ridiculous.
I still feel like the refs are terrible.
I agree with that 100%.
I feel like I like LeBron, and he's my favorite player of all time. But I feel like last night where LeBron got hit and Jokic didn't even touch him and they called a foul.
Yeah.
And is LeBron... I don't think LeBron's going to retire. Is LeBron getting older, though? He looks a little slower, doesn't he?
Yes.
But I don't think LeBron's going to retire because I do think in 2 years, LeBron wants to play with Bronny.
I do. I believe that as well.
But is Bronny not going to get drafted to the Lakers? or is LeBron going to try to go to his team? Imagine if it's father versus son. Have we ever seen that before on a basketball court?
No. But I would say no matter what, I think LeBron's kind of at the point now where he can do that. He can determine where he's, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's playing with his son no matter what. It's never going to be against him.
Because I think Bronny's coming out after next year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think so is DJ Wagner, too.
Which is another terrific basketball player. But the thing about the NBA is these guys don't come into the league and light it up like in other sports. You know what I mean? You really got to, nurture and get these younger kids time to develop in the NBA.
Because you got to understand, though, something, Corey. These guys ain't used to playing 82 games a year.
True.
They're in high school. They play what, about how many games do you think? 25? Maybe not even.
Yeah, I mean, give or take, and then they see the AAU ball, but even that anymore isn't ball. It's a trick show out there. All these guys are just trying to get tape for their their highlight tapes.
In college, you're playing probably about 40.
Yep.
No, wait, 64 is the games. That's right. No, wait, it's 38. I think.
Double check. I got mine.
38, I think, is the game. I could be wrong. I think it's 38 match games you play.
Let's double check.
I think it's in the 30s somewhere.
25 to 30 games.
Okay.
25 to 35.
And we're also talking about the tournaments. I think that's like 30 something around there. And then when you come in the NBA, these guys ain't used to playing 82. They're used to playing games. Once you play 82, they know how much of beating it puts on your body.
Yeah, and I think that also back to Embiid, that's kind of why we're seeing him, die down. He's not – he wins MVP, like that was phenomenal, but the regular season is a different animal than playoff ball. I think the playoffs, it's a lot more – you can see the competitive edge come out, whereas in the regular season, nobody's playing defense,
No, I think they still try on beating the regular season. I think the thing is, though, that Embiid always gets hurt in the playoffs. That's the problem. If Embiid stayed healthy, like, no one knew. I don't think Embiid was playing his full game because he had a hurt knee. And he didn't really know how hurt his. I don't think that's the problem. For a 7'2" guy and you got a little hurt knee, that's the problem. So that's why I don't think Embiid was himself. The thing was, I think he was a little tentative because of his knee. He didn't want to bang it up more. But he's got to stop falling. That's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, he really does just go out there and he's laying out. Almost 70% of the time Embiid's somewhere on the ground.
I love that Embiid puts his body on the ground. But he's going to get hurt. I mean, he's 7'2".
He overdoes it.
Like, when I play basketball, I fall on the ground a lot. And it's not 82 times a year. And it hurts.
It does hurt.
I mean, that's. I'm sure you fell on the concrete fell on the wood playing basketball.
Yeah, it does not feel good, that's for sure.
It hurts. And I hit my knee there. I hit my arm there, back. It hurts playing basketball because I go all out.
Yeah.
Especially.
And we're watching these guys go all out 82 times a year.
And we might be doing it twice a week.
Exactly.
I mean, and these guys are going out 82. These guys are going out 82 times a week. 82 times a year. Until their body can't take it anymore.
Correct.
LeBron doesn't look the same player from 3, though, does he?
No, not at all. And I think it's hard to speculate on it just because we don't actually play, but...
If I'm playing LeBron, though, right now, if I'm playing the coach from LeBron, I'm not really covering him from deep.
No.
I would say, just put your hands up.
If he's going to give you 40, make him earn the 40.
I would just say, if I'm the coach, put your hand up. Just go out there on the line and put your hand up.
Yeah, and you can tell he's losing gas in the tank. He's not as explosive as he once was, but then all of a sudden he'll get that, mentality rolling. You see LeBron just go off, and it's like, all right, guy doesn't miss at 38 years old.
LeBron's still putting at least 30 points a game in as a 38-year-old. That's still pretty damn good.
Oh, it's insane. I mean, we're watching greatness. Don't get me wrong; he's definitely up there, but I don't know. Are you a Jordan guy or a LeBron guy?
LeBron, who are you?
It's hard to say.
I think LeBron's the best ever, but I think it's very close.
Yeah, but
What if
I think
LeBron just say you don't think it's going to happen? It may not happen. What if LeBron just say came back from 3-0 and won 4-3 in this series?
then, he just padded his resume.
But I
But
just
it's
think
hard to speculate. I think the Jordan LeBron argument, it's not straight up. LeBron's played so many more games.
I personally think. Wait, what'd you say?
LeBron's played a lot more games than Jordan.
I personally think that the younger generation thinks LeBron and the old heads think Jordan.
Yeah. And they use that, it's a different ball game back then.
I feel like there's a lot of better players now, but I feel like back in the day was a lot more rougher.
Yeah, the brutality was definitely a lot different back then than, say, nowadays with the calls and stuff you're seeing from these refs. And
I do feel like LeBron could play back then, but I also feel like LeBron would get hammered back then.
Yeah, he would not be, doing what he's doing now as easy.
Why do you think Jordan slowed down at 38? Did he even play till 38?
No.
So
Jordan did not play until 38.
I didn't really watch Jordan. So
by age 35, he was designing his sneakers.
Yeah, so LeBron may not have made 38 back then.
No, LeBron. I don't think he would have. Like we're saying, it was a different ball game. It was a lot more physical in the body. And you can see that in the highlight tapes and all that stuff from back in the day. But I don't think it's a discredit towards LeBron. It's just today's day and age is different than what Jordan played with.
Allen Iverson didn't.
At the same time, there's a lot better players.
Allen Iverson didn't make that far.
No,
he made those deep 30s, and he's one of the best basketball players I've ever seen on YouTube. Saw a couple of his games, and he didn't win it.
No, he did not. And I think that it's a travesty that he didn't, because his 2001 season, his MVP season. You want to talk about a guy he was playing his game. He was balling, man. He was, AI was in his bag during that season.
He was like me balling you up, right? Through the legs, around the back.
Yeah, exactly. He had something going great there. And if you think back, if we just had a slightly better team that year, when AI went off, man, I think we would have had a chip in Philly. But
there's nothing you can do about that, Corey. The Lakers were just so much better.
Shaq and Kobe.
Kobe Bryant. Did they have Fisher on that team?
I believe so.
Derek Fisher could light them up. They just had Kobe and Shaquille didn't like each other, but they played with each other.
Yeah, it was 2 years prior, actually, was when Kobe slapped Shaq in the face. Or Shaq slapped Kobe in the face. Vice versa. One of them slapped the other one, right?
Yeah. Was it 2 years before that?
Yeah, it was 98, I believe they did that.
They just didn't like each other, but they knew they had to play with each other.
Correct, and they went out there and got the job done, did they not?
They did. Now,
I wish we had one of those teams to talk about in Philly, but it's never been complete.
Did Pippen and Jordan like each other? We'll never know. I'm sure they did, but that's something they don't talk about, did they? They got along, though, and they won 6 rings together.
That is, you know what? You can't argue with that.
We don't know if they liked each other. I'm sure they liked each other, but if they didn't like each other, they still got the job done.
And you weren't able to tell. And that's the other thing I have an issue with in today's day and age with ball especially is just the media and everything's broadcasted.
Like I'm saying with James Harden and Embiid, you don't know if they like each other. You have no idea. They don't tell you if they like each other backstage. Back in the locker room. They just interview and they go. You don't know.
You're right.
It's like unless you personally know the person, let's say we know one of the Sixers or Phillies, you don't know if they like each other.
I think I don't know. I don't think we have team chemistry issues in Philly. We just couldn't put it together.
I feel like teams with too much talent sometimes don't gel.
Yeah, and I'll agree with that any day of the week.
Sixers I feel like had all this talent, but they didn't gel. Their starting 5 was good. I feel like P.J. Tucker was not a good 5th guy.
Well, our bench also did not help us during the season whatsoever,
No, I'm kidding. P.J. Tucker was good, but it's look at the Celtics in this series. There should be so much better, and they're just getting bullied by Jimmy Butler or Bayou.
Yeah.
And
I
I
agree
had
with
this
that.
team beating the Bucks, but I didn't have this team beating the finals, going to the finals, because of the broken hand of Tyler Hero.
Really?
I
You thought he carried that much weight in Miami?
didn't think he carried that weight. I feel like he comes off the bench and scores like 20 points.
Oh, I'm not going to argue that.
I thought they could have. I thought they were at least going to get past the Knicks, but I thought whoever came out of our series was beating them.
I don't want to talk about it because I am upset with the city of Philadelphia and the 76ers.
And you're saying the Celtics can still come back and win the next two in Boston. I've seen that before. I mean, in Miami, I've seen that before tons of times. I've seen where a team's lost the first two at home, and then the next road team comes back and kicks and kills them on their home floor.
So who do you want to see out of the East then?
I hate the Celtics. I'm home from the Heat.
Oh, really?
You like the Celtics? I can't stand them. They're our biggest rival in basketball.
I want to see the Heat, but I don't know. I just feel like
a team that we should have beat.
Like, they're a good team, man.
And I'm not going to deny that the Celtics are a good team. I know that, but I just don't like them. I feel like we're a point guard away from beating them.
I agree. I don't know about just 1 point guard away. I just think we need a coach, too. I think that was, like, the biggest issue, is the coaching, really. Our offense was so flat. There's, it was the same thing. Dribble down the court, pick and roll. And if they double cover on Embiid, he's on an island.
What if James Harden comes back? Would you be happy?
Yes, I love Harden. I am a Harden stan.
What if we have Embiid too?
I don't know if it's going to be possible, but
why?
Because one of them's going out. I just think after this season, especially after Harden just pulled his stunt, there's got to be something happening behind the scenes here. Him saying that, he didn't pick up his option. So do you think Embiid wants Harden out? I don't know, but I don't think the likelihood of them both returning is very high.
I feel like Embiid's returning. I feel like Harden's going.
You think Harden's going to be in the free agency market?
Yeah. Unless they bring him back, which I don't care for, but I'm not a huge Harden fan like you and Nick, just because I'm glad he dropped 3 42-point games. I'm not blaming it on him, but every time he does that, the next day I see him not knowing how to play basketball.
I see what you're saying.
He's too inconsistent. And a lot of guys are too inconsistent. Embiid didn't play that great either. Maxey had a bad series too, but it's not just Harden. Embiid had a bad series too. Harden saved us in a couple of those games. I'm not denying that, but I'm also saying if you drop 42 this day, why can't you at least drop 20 the next day? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and be scared to shoot. Game 3 was scared he was at the rim and passed it out and threw it out of bounds. I'm like, come on, Harden.
Yeah, he did put up a Ben Simmons stat line in the fourth quarter too.
I'm just saying, if you're not scared, I don't think he's scared, but that's the point. That's my problem with Harden. That's all. I don't hate him. It's just I think he's too inconsistent.
I can understand where you're coming from.
So but I don't think it
bring in to replace Harden.
I want Dame Dollars, honestly.
I think everybody does, but he doesn't want to leave Portland.
He should. Portland stinks.
They're terrible, but that's his. That's his city. He really is that. He is the Trailblazers, and he said that. He openly admitted. He said he's not going nowhere. They paid him his money. He's going to stay.
I respect that.
Yeah. How could you not? That's his city.
It's
his team.
You don't think
he has a lot of say?
You don't think he's gonna get the Trailblazers to the playoffs?
No, I don't think he's getting them anywhere. But I'm still gonna root for him.
They said they're not trading him.
He didn't want to go anywhere. I thought
he has no trade clause, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he signed that huge deal, and he has a no trade, and I I don't think there's bad blood. I know he wants a ring, but I don't think he's willing to just bounce, to get one. He's not going to go chasing rings like Kevin Durant.
You like Kevin Durant?
I do, but at the same time, I don't like the moves that he's made. I like KD on the Thunder, to be honest.
Do you think this podcast we did is going to be one of the top I've ever done?
Oh, 100%.
More than Perry's?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't listen to Perry talk for this long.
You couldn't listen to Perry talk for this long?
No, absolutely not.
He gives you a headache?
He gives me a headache.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know ball.
What'd you say?
He doesn't know ball either.
Me and you know ball, Corey.
Oh, way better than Perry.
You know what Perry told me today? I said, Perry, why doesn't Embiid play more of a Bayou game? Stand on that and get the rebound. He said, Embiid got more rebounds in the playoffs than a Bayou. I said, Perry, I don't like a Bayou. I'm like, why do you always defend Embiid? I'm just giving you a fact, Perry. And I said, this is playoffs. I said, and Bayou's in the Eastern Conference finals, and Embiid's sitting at home.
Yep.
And
Perry, that's his boy, though. Perry loves Embiid.
I love Embiid, too. But every time me and him talk about Embiid, like one time he came over to my house after Game 7, and the Celtics said, Perry, did you see when Embiid played today? And he's like, oh, he had a bad game. What, you want to get rid of him? I said, I never said I wanted to get rid of him. I just said every Game 7 he doesn't show up.
And I'm tired of seeing it. I'm with you. I'm tired of seeing it. The last 5 years this has happened.
I'm not saying I want to trade him, but if someone gives me a good offer, I might look at it.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Depends what it is, though. I'm not giving him up for a bag of donuts.
No, you can't. It's Joel Embiid. But, I like you said, listen, if there's
But the question is, this year, Embiid starts his new max contract we signed him to.
Oh, Embiid does?
Yeah, this is the year.
Okay.
The year before we played the Hawks and lost, they signed him to a 4-year, I think, $185 million contract.
Really?
But he still had to finish out his other contract, so that goes in the factor this year.
Wow. So, make or break year for Embiid? If he stays?
I don't know, but the question is, does Embiid have a no-trade clause in that contract?
I don't know. We could look it up.
I don't know either, but I know it starts this season.
I just want to see us go further than the second round. That's all I can ask. I don't care who we got to bring in, who we got to kick out. Just let me see a conference final.
So do I, Corey, but the thing I don't want to rebuild.
No, I don't want to rebuild either. I think we have some talent, but a full rebuild would be a little bit excessive. If we could just get, more pieces. That's like the Phillies. At the cost of, whoever it may be. If it's Harden, it's Harden. If it's Embiid. I just want to ask for more pieces. I'm not saying completely give up everything we have and go all in, but
you got to understand something, Corey. It's the NBA, buddy. The NBA, you need star players to win a championship.
Never doubted that.
Look at the Nuggets. I wouldn't really say Nuggets have star players, but they also got a good coach.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Don't you think their coach?
That's why I think we shouldn't make any moves until we bring in a coach.
Do you think their coach?
That's the cold hard truth.
Do you think their coach is good? Nuggets?
What's his name?
Malone or something like that?
Listen, I think anybody's better than Doc Rivers, so that's my honest opinion.
And you can't say the coach is bad. He has him in the Western Conference Finals.
Exactly.
He wins the championship. That man's going to be the hero of Denver. Him and Jokic are going to be and Murray are going to be the co-stars heroes of Denver, winning them their first ever franchise NBA Finals title.
And you know why that's great? Because that football team over there in Denver is not going to be going to a championship anytime
Corey,
soon.
Don't bash my team, Corey. Sean Payton's back, Corey. We play the Dolphins this year, Corey.
That's bad news for you, pal.
We're going to smoke you guys.
Oh, man, you don't want to get me going about Dolphins football. We're the best secondary in the league.
Yeah, best. You say the best secondary in the league, Corey?
Yes, absolutely.
Corey, Russell Wilson might throw 5 touchdowns against your best secondary in the league.
Oh, man.
We got one of the best coaches in the league, Corey, Sean Payton.
Is he, though? He hasn't coached in a little bit.
Trust me, Corey.
Listen, if you think he's got it, you think he's got it, you know?
I believe in this man.
In Sean Payton?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a great coach. Don't get me wrong, but again.
Look, I'm going to put out a hot take right here because we're ending in like a couple minutes. But before we do, I'm going to end a hot take. And here it is. If the Broncos don't make the playoffs this year, they will be back next year.
They will be back or he won't be back?
They will be back. They're going to contend this year.
Wow.
But I think they can contend for a playoff spot this year. Because, look, the Raiders, I think, are going to stink, right?
Yeah, I
think the Chiefs are going to win the division. I like to say the Broncos are going to win it just to bust on Perry, but I know that ain't true because he gets mad every time I say that. So, but I think they can compete with the Chargers. I mean,
absolutely. I think the Chargers are going to fall apart. I don't think Herbert's got it.
It's not just. I think Herbert has it. It's not Herbert. I think until they get rid of that dummy they got as a coach.
Is it him, though? I mean, we watched Herbert blow a 30-point lead in a playoff game.
Is it his fault or is it the coach?
He's got to be held accountable to some degree. I mean, come on.
Whose fault is it? Whose fault is it that the week before in Denver, where Chargers lost, where that game doesn't mean anything, this dummy played Mike Williams all the way into the third quarter, and the guy gets buried out of bounds and hurts his back.
That's on the coach,
and he can't play the next week because he has a hurt back. Because I think
the thing is, Herbert just needed to run the game, you know, and he didn't.
And I think the Chargers also took the foot off the gas.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And you never do that, especially in a playoff game.
Like, this reminds me of a couple weeks ago. I was at West Stafford. They were playing Autobahn. They got big points for beating them. They moved up. They were the 10 seed. They moved all the way up to the 6 seed. They were tied 6-6 at the time, where it was 8-0 or something. And before it was 8-6, and their coach yelled out, "Don't take your foot off the gas!"
Really?
He's like, "I want more runs."
Hey, that's coaching 101. You never, especially in professional sports, you know. Why would you take your foot off the gas? If you're up by 30, go up by 40.
Go up by 70.
Yeah.
Go up as much as you can. Go up until you know you can't go up anymore.
And I'm with you in that 100%.
Especially with basketball, because basketball is a game of runs.
Yeah, it is. And we watched that. I mean, we watched that. That was the Game 6 collapse. The Celtics just, went on a crazy run and buried us in a game that we should have won and been playing in the Eastern Conference Final right now. We match up pretty good against the Heat, nothing for nothing.
I want to ask you a couple questions before we wrap this up. Before I go, what would be your off-season plans? Let me hear it.
For the 76ers?
Yeah.
My honest all-season plans is I want to see who we bring in as a coach.
If you're the GM, what are you doing? If you're Daryl Morey right now, looking at, say he has an iPad in front of him, because I'm sure he has some kind of iPad or computer, pencil and pen. What are you writing down? What are you doing? What are you looking up? What are you trying to talk to on your phone to all the GMs? What are you doing for draft picks?
Right. Well, first we're bringing in Nick Nurse.
Good pick. It's my guy too.
I think he's he's a championship caliber coach without a doubt. So let's bring him in. I want to bring Harden back. I want to get rid of Tobias. If we can get rid of Tobias, bring in a solid, 3 or 4 guy.
All right.
I don't know who that would be. I mean, being brutally honest, I don't know.
And you're trading Embiid?
Ideally, I wouldn't want to, but you got to see what offers are out there. I'd explore the option. Let's put it that way. I would explore the option.
For me, would I trade Embiid? If someone calls me and has a good deal, I would look at it. But I personally don't want to trade Embiid. I want to bring in another point guard and see if he can get paid. And then if he fails next year, then you look at it.
Yeah. I think a point guard would be great. And then we also need another center, a true center.
Embiid's our center.
I'm saying like off the bench.
I say we bring in.
I don't think Paul Reed's the guy to be running the center.
I say we go get Dwight Howard from Japan.
Yeah, bring him in from Shanghai.
Yeah. Say I signed a contract, and you say you're out of your contract. Welcome back home, Dwighty boy.
Because he's like a celebrity over there. He's like the MVP, isn't he?
Yeah. Let's bring him back from Shanghai. What do you think?
I don't know if Dwight Howard's the guy. I'd rather take, you know what? And Perry, if he listens to this, he's gonna crack up. But
is he in there with you?
No. I think he's over your neck of the woods. But Nick Claxton. I love Nick Claxton, and I think he's a phenomenal ball player. I'm gonna say it. So
one more thing I want to ask you before we wrap this up. Is Gloucester Catholic's playoff game tomorrow?
Is it? I don't know. We'll have to check and see.
Because I know the playoff games are starting soon, and I thought you would know since.
Adam's checking?
Is he? I don't know.
I'll have to check and see. I'll reach out to him. I don't know. They won the Diamond Classic, though, so.
I would look it up now, but I have you on the phone, so I can't.
I got you. No worries.
West Everett plays Overbrook tomorrow. 6 versus 11.
Are you going to be calling it?
Yeah, I'm going to call it.
Very cool. Might have to stop by and check it out.
Game's at 4:30.
All right. Let me see what I can do.
All right, Corey. That's it for the Bubcast. Thanks for joining us. Corey, thanks for doing it, my man.
Absolutely. You got to let me know how we do. Make sure we do better than when Perry was on.
I will.
All righty, Bub.
Bye.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I'll talk to you soon.